unpaid. Do you remember?
I believe it's still unpaid, but I'm not 100% sure.
So it would be better that we do all this so that when we lien the property, all that cost is on there when it goes into adjudication. If that's what happens next, right?
I'll make a motion then.
Okay. Motion for all that I recommended.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, I have a motion and a second to condemn the property at 2115 Charity Street and go get a bid to demolish the building in the south side, which is the old Abbey Grill, and secure the structure, which is the budget in. And I will entertain any discussion on that before we take action.
May I have a question? I'd like to ask our legal counsel. There's a mortgage existing on the property right now.
Yeah.
Yes,
So where do we fall if we
would trump
lien
that
the
mortgage.
property? The mortgage,
yeah.
the mortgage goes first, right?
No, we would trump that more.
We would trump the mortgage.
Tax liens and municipality liens trump the mortgage.
Thank you.
Yes,
They
sir.
actually foreclosed, and then when they
It went
talked
to-
with Brian and realized everything that was going on, they withdrew their foreclosure. Now, they're not gonna just give away their mortgage, but they're not even trying to foreclose.
I think they foreclosed it before, I think they withdrew it before this happened, because when Brian came to me, I recalled seeing it in the newspaper, and that's how we found. So I think they had foreclosed on it and they withdrew it. And then when Brian called, that's when they said that possible environment.
Yeah,
That's why they withdrew it, though. They didn't want the property.
Yeah, it ran in the sheriff's sales, but then was pulled probably the week
Yeah.
before I sent notice.
It's financed locally.
What?
Is it financed locally around?
It is not financed locally. I think it's financed.
Bank of Hope, out of, I think it's Pasadena.
Yeah,
California.
the owner is currently running another business here in Abbeville, though.
Really?
Well, the one that we talked to, let me say that. I'm not gonna say on record the name, but.
So.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? Yes, Chris, I'm sorry.
So you're bidding out the structure if this passes, the Abbey Grill structure to demolish. And I mentioned, Chris, on the boarding, are you bidding out how much it's gonna cost the board?
We discussed securing it. We didn't discuss bidding out or not. I thought we would just have that discussion after. And if it's a high number that I feel like needs to come back to council, we'll bring it to the next meeting before we take action. I think we can get together and come up with a plan,
Sure.
get an estimate. Okay, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian. Item number 6, discussion and possible action relative to the March 1, 2025 renewal of the following insurance through Thompson, Smith and Leach Property Auto Equipment Package, Airport General Liability, and Boiler and Machinery Equipment Coverage. Council, we have with us Mr. Ruben Rivera.
Government name, Ruben Rivera Jr., for the record. Mayor, Council, I'm so excited to be here tonight for this renewal. It's 5 years in the making. I've been able to present something like this, so I'll just go line by line. If you have any questions, stop me, raise your hand. Package on the auto equipment.
Wait, hold on, Ben.
Yep.
In front of you guys, you should have a paper. It was left probably behind that.
Right here.
Rachel. Just like this. Okay. All right. And it's on the monitor also.
Very good. So you'll see last year's expiring and then the selected renewal premium for discussion and consideration by the council. On package 1 for the auto equipment, you will notice an increase. The base rate of that actually decreased by 2 cents. And under item 1, you'll see where the TIV increase is where our premium increase is found because we had more coverage for the vehicles.
New vehicles and additional equipment that we brought in.
Correct. As the cost of vehicles go up, like everything else, then that's the amount, raises the amount of insurance, which it therefore raises the rate overall. General liability in the airport, that's bid out on 3 years. So the policy is the same price for the 3-year term. You'll see where it did increase a little bit, but it's a specialty item with a special package for airports and municipalities. So that was the best rate that we could find in the market. Boiler machinery equipment, number 3, you will see a significant rate decrease there. We had some claims and some other things that We're a little older this year, so we're able to shop it and get a very attractive renewal offer there. And the one that I'm most proud of is number 4, property insurance. For the first time in 5 years, I'm able to stand in front of a council and say that the rate actually did decrease, which is, good for our community, good for the state of Louisiana. I'm so excited you won't be able to tell by my face, but I'm screaming on the inside right now. So you can see the benefit there. We did make some changes inside to make it a little more advantageous for the city's budget to come in a little better. And then any questions in regards to anything I've covered so far?
Ben, your
Yes, sir.
work, we begin that work together in January of each
Oh.
year to scrub these numbers and to find companies that do want to bid on this. And it's very satisfying to see a lower premium this year. And that's the hard work of your agency, not just here with the committee and City Hall. So thank you, Ben.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And then you'll see number 5, the cyber liability. That's something the chair and the mayor and I have talked over the years and always felt that we weren't quite ready to take on that coverage because the risk and the operations of the city of Abbeville. But now with the integration and upgrading of your services to the community, we feel that it's necessary to implement now, or for at least for the consideration of the council. So you'll see that new line item on the cyber liability that does protect you.
Ben, if I could add, that council seems particularly important for us with the investment that the city is making in new software and some new hardware. And this is relevant to Vermilion Parish as an entity in Vermilion Parish had a bad situation with their computers. So, Ben, would that be accurate?
Yes, I think it's very.
And actually, after I visited with that organization, we asked them to look into it and kind of talked with them about what coverage they had, what they thought. And so thank you, Ben and Councilman, for bringing the cybersecurity. We did save some money on boiler and machinery, but it is my recommendation that we add the cyber liability this year. As you all know, we're rolling into a new accounting software GIS system. So we are going to be more and more tech savvy here at City of Abbeville. And so that also opens you up to some vulnerabilities that we're going to plan for, but this is insurance just in case.
That's right. The risk is presented and this is how we mitigate the risk.
So I'm just for the sake of, there's some new council people here, not to muddy the water much, but for those of you, yes, we're all excited that it finally is going down. If you recall, in 2022, 2023, the city had $5 million sublimit, if I recall correctly. And the total premium was, I think, 300 and something thousand. When we renewed in 2023, 2024, we reduced the sublimit down to 2.5 to save some money. And then in 2024, 2025, we reduced the sublimit again to 1.5 to make the numbers work better, which means we're taking on a little more liability, personal insurance, self-insurance, but it's what we feel we need to do right now. And we think we've been pretty smart about how we've reduced it. So that being said, council, I will entertain the motion to accept the full renewal as proposed, $429,117.62 for the coverages we just discussed. I have a motion from Councilman Hardy and a second from Councilman Touchette Mouton. Any questions or comments?
Let us complete our conversation with, it's even more wonderful when we can renew this policy with a local business in Abbeville. So Ben, tell your team, it's a pleasure to work with the whole bunch.
Thank you.
So the numbers, right? Thank you, Ben.
And the insurance committee as well. Thank you.
That's good.
And the council.
Okay. All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate your hard work on that.
Absolutely.
I think that might have been the most pain-free insurance renewal I've had since I became mayor. Okay, moving on. Number 7, to approve the quote from Techline Utility Supply in the amount of $19,281 for 3 primary switches for the bypass electrical substation.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilman Hardy, a second from Councilman Campbell. Stuart, you have anything to say on that?
No, ma'am.
And this is the work you did last week, or we working on this? Yeah, we're working on the substation on the bypass. So, I have a motion, a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, to announce that the March 4th, 2025 City Council meeting will not be held because City Hall is closed for Mardi Gras. No action needed, council. Right now, it is my intention to only have 1 meeting in March, and that would be the 2nd Tuesday, unless we get a bunch of items that come up and we feel, or anything timely that we would need to have a special meeting. But right now, the plan is just to have 1 meeting in March, the 2nd meeting. Yes,
Second Tuesday, you said?
that's, I said it wrong.
Third
The
Tuesday?
second time we would have it, yeah, the 3rd Tuesday, right? 1st and 3rd Tuesday is when we normally have it. We would not have it the 1st Tuesday. We would have it the 3rd Tuesday. And I don't have the date in front of me, but
18th.
thank you. 18th. Okay. No action needed. Item number 9, to approve the payment of partial payment estimate number 5 in the amount of $16,650.13 payable to Glen Leger Construction LLC relative to the Graceland Avenue Street and Sidewalk Improvements
Move.
Project. I have a motion from Councilman Hardy, whose district it's in, and a second from Councilman Tuchet Mouton. Any questions or comments? Is Mr. Jean or Todd here? I don't see either one. Oh, Andy. I wanted to ask if y'all had an update on that project, where we are on it?
I have an update from Justin.
Mm-hmm.
He said the existing sidewalk have been removed on the north side of Graceland on the most eastern part of the project. The drain covers have been received back from paint. The focus is getting the sidewalks completed. And after the sidewalks are completed, the asphalt crew will be around within a couple of weeks to overlay the road.
So they're gonna mill from State Street all the way to Lyman along that road and overlay it.
So the sidewalks, I think this partial payment was for the sidewalks. Is for payment for sidewalk work, and we're looking forward to some asphalt work in a couple of weeks.
And Chris, we completed our catch basin that we were doing there.
Yes, ma'am, saved the city about $9,000.
Love that. Not really save the city, we spent money, but yeah, saved us from what it would have been for the contractor to do it. And we did have a call today about, well, we'll talk about that in the summary at the end, because it's not on the agenda, about the park stuff, so. Okay, I have a motion in a second? I do. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10, to approve the payment of the invoice from Terry's Diesel in the amount of $6,277.23 for a repair to the ladder truck chief tube mirror.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, this was to replace the turbo that kind of exploded on us when we were coming back from the police
Work.
department's ceremony in December.
Move, Mayor.
Second. Okay, a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? It's already done, or no?
It's done, yes,
Done,
ma'am.
yeah. Okay, all in favor? Any opposed?
you,
Motion
Chief.
carries. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Item number 11, discussion and possible approval to approve a special event permit for Drayon Levine to hold a block party for Mardi Gras on March 4th, 2025 from 4 p.m. And I see on the agenda it says 9 p.m. I think that's what's on the application, but it's supposed to be 8, right? From 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at I.J. Joyner, Green, and Vernon Streets. Okay, Mr. Drayon, you have the floor. Why don't you come up and discuss it with the council?
Maybe I'm a spotlight at the same time. But I grew up on Dutel Street, and I never really would experience Mardi Gras. And every time I knew Mardi Gras would come around, it would be because they had a function on what's called the front, which is those roads. And I'm trying to get that back going. Of course, security is going to be provided, which I'm going to get with Chief.
You have a private security firm providing security?
No, I don't have a private. And I know, using people who were bouncers in like clubs and all that is
They have to be insured.
insured.
Yeah.
All right. See less.
So the chief has, it's in the ordinance, but the chief also can go over that with you. He knows the ones that are insured. So usually the security plans go through chief of police. Okay. What about your petition, Mr. Levine? I know you have it. You have 3 property owners along the route. 4, right?
Yeah,
This one
it's like
we
4.
can't read, but 4 property owners along the route. I know we called, we were able to talk to one, Miss Levy. She said she was in favor. The other 2, we left voicemails. We haven't heard back from, and I'm not sure who the 4th one is, but I know you have Rainey's number, so we can get that from you. Is that all the properties along the route? Has everyone that lives on that block signed off? Because you don't live on it, right?
Yeah, I don't stay on it. It's really just 3 people on that road in that from Green to Vernon in those houses rather. The other 2 or 3 are abandoned.
I see you have a couple of them with just voicemails. Did you talk to them or just left a voicemail?
No, I actually went get them.
Okay.
The voicemail, Rainey's notes, 'cause she
Okay,
called
that's
to
what I was
verify
wondering. Okay.
ahead of the meeting when we got the list.
Okay.
So we didn't hear back from them before the meeting.
Good.
Okay, go ahead.
Chief, can you opine on this, please?
So, first off, we had a meeting with him, we explained to him what he had to have. To get your permission to have it on city street. If city street, he's gonna have to have security there. He's gonna have to have an insurance policy there, and if he has that so far, we're on step. We did say he had to contact all the neighbors in that area. There may be a few more neighbors in this, so I don't see, the older lady that I asked you.
So, yeah, I went and knocked. She just didn't come.
Miss Dorothy Levine,
This-
Miss
Is that-
Dorothy
Is it Dorothy? Yeah.
Levine.
Please.
She's just always in the back. She's
So
in the
we
back.
can verify everybody though before this date.
I spoke with her daughter and explained to her, what was going on. And that Drayon would be here for the meeting tonight. And she said that her mom would have no problem with it as long, because it didn't bother her last year, as long as it was shutting down early. And that, we're working on security with Drayon, and she said that was good. So she was sure that her mom would not have a problem. And when she got off from work, she would, go and visit with her mom and talk with her and get back with.
Well, what about the worship area? You checked?
With Miss Rebecca, she wants me to rope off for like no one could be on that property. So yeah, I have to caution people to rope off everything. That people don't want us to actually,
You don't never.
yeah.
Okay, so let me explain. Councilman asked this question, so I'm just going to explain where we are. Mr. Dre, there was a block party that happened last year without a permit. After that, I know the chief and them went and got everybody to disperse. After that, Mr. Levine came, visited with us on what happened. We explained to him what was going to be required should they want to do something like that, because we have a special event permit that is required anytime you use a city street or city property. Just like we require when there's a trail ride leaving the Red Barn, they have to have a special event permit, any other gathering. So Mr. Drayon has now filled out the special event permit, had the meeting with Chief and I, and Rainey sat in. What we told him was if he wanted the council to consider this, we explained, gave him a copy of the ordinance. He will, pending if you grant him, I think the granting of a special event permit, if it happens at this table, needs to be pending the completion of and verification of the signatures on the petition, pending him getting insurance and pending him getting private security. As we've done with other special events, the trail rides and otherwise, they don't want to take on the expense of the insurance or the private security until they know whether or not they might get a special event permit. So that's what this discussion is right now. I will yield the floor to y'all. I explained to Mr. Drayon why we have those ordinances in place, what the liability is with that. We discussed other options and he's decided that he wanted to submit the application for that. So it really is this council's decision, and I would lend to councilwoman who represents that district
Well-
as well as at large councilman?
Well, I'm not going to, stop it, but, Drayon and I, we talked and he know how I feel, but, I won't steal their thunder. So, what I'm going to do is, ask that, make a motion to, approve it tonight, provided, but with the, he come with the documents that we need for the insurance, the security, and what's the third one?
Finish the petition and make sure we
Yes,
verify.
yes.
If I make it,
Yeah.
if you can add to that motion to grant him a variance from the ordinance, because the ordinance says that he's got to complete that permit and turn it in at least 30 days prior to the event, which I don't think we,
Right. He had asked to be on the agenda last time, but we wanted to have a private
Yeah.
meeting.
so
with
just make that a part of your motion.
Okay, and I'll also add that we grant him a variance.
And then the security, the ordinance says as deemed appropriate according to the chief of police based on the event they have it.
Yeah.
So I would suggest you talk to the chief, talk about the amount of people y'all got coming, how, and then he can come up with what he thinks is appropriate security.
And,
That you
and,
would
and
have-
as we discussed when we met, if it gets too loud, we start getting complaints and the chief has to go and shut it down. I would ask that it would be done with respect, right? On both sides. We are trying not to hamper the fun of people if you're willing to go through all of the permitting process and do it legally. But if there's anything that happens there and the chief feels that it needs to be, shut down, that it's done both sides with respect. Our officers who are going into there to do that. Hopefully it goes off without any complaints from outside neighbors and no issues. But I'm like Councilwoman Broussard, if we want to entertain that, that's what we're going to do here. And it will be pending everything with the variance and everything being completed prior to, right? All the private security with insurance, license. Any other comments, questions?
What kind of, activity do you plan to have at your function? A disc jockey or a live band or food or
Yeah,
what?
pretty much just a disc jockey. Miss Jackie stays on the roof. She has food, and anytime somebody needs a plate, just come grab a plate. She's always open.
And your security says private, live in the neighborhood, that's what.
Well, yeah. Now that that's being shared, I'm gonna talk to the chief about.
Yeah. Because somebody has to pay for that, security. That's all the questions I have.
Any questions, Marvin?
That'll have to be in tax and permit with the application as the chief approves the security plan.
So you're gonna have the DJs?
Well, the DJ is going to be on Miss Jackie's property. So yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna tell you something, and this is just for your benefit. There's gonna be some complaints, okay? I worked these streets for 35 years. People are gonna complain. If you can control the volume of the music, it'll save you a lot of problems, because they out there, they're gonna be out there every 10 minutes. Man, we're still getting complaints. You need to lower your music. It's gonna happen. So if you control your DJ to where the complaints don't come in, then you can have a good time.
And chief, I would like for y'all to have a discussion. It doesn't need to be right here, but if you get a certain number of complaints, automatically y'all discuss that when y'all meet on
There's a
security.
lot of elderly neighbors there, and if they complain, we have to consider their, their
Yeah,
thoughts.
they live there and, they have rights. So,
Play that by you.
Well, I'll second, Councilman Broussard's motion pending, meeting all the requirements that, is required.
okay. We have a motion and a second, and it's for the variance. I'll let it, hold on. Motion and a second for the variance, for the time, it being close to the event time. And it is pending, all the relevant information needing to be turned in and approved ahead of the event. And Mr. Drayon and Chief will get together on that and submit that to tax and permit. I will update you, council, once all that's been done, so you know. Now I will entertain any other discussion or comments. Now we have a motion, a second. Yes.
I have a question.
Please stand and state your name for the record.
My name is Farmington Michelle. I was just wanting to know what if they signed the petition but still complain?
Your option.
I mean, but they signed the petition.
They're saying they're
so
gonna
we
have
in the
it, but
neighborhood, right?
the noise may be too loud. If, you know, it's their decision. If
But
it's,
what's too loud to you may not be too loud to me.
well, it's gonna be up to the officer.
The petition doesn't waive their right to complain. The petition says that they don't have an objection to a block party being held on their block. That's what it says, and it gives the time.
I
And
mean, just a
yeah,
thought.
so if they sign the petition and then they complain, that's gonna be something that the chief and Mr. Levine's gonna have to discuss, right?
We're
How
talking
that's
about
gonna
8
be
o'clock,
handled.
so it's gonna be barely past the dark, so.
Well, I'm in the days for 7 o'clock. Yeah, I'm too far away.
Especially if they're
I know I'm far away, but I mean, I'm in the bed for 7 o'clock and I hear some noise. I don't want my to be wrong.
No.
And
I didn't sign the petition.
And I'd just like to say that, I get complaints, from some of the employees about my district because they feel like, it's not true, but they feel like they live in my district all the time picking up trash. So, after this is all over with and I'm riding the next morning to go to work, I'm out at 6:30. Please make sure when I cut those blocks that everything's been picked up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Same
you're
thing I did last
responsible
year.
for cleaning up after, and when y'all look at it, kind of with the parameter, I know you don't know what the parameter is gonna be, but there needs to be a parameter to make sure that all the signatures are there, right? So I know it says, I know we looking at one street right here, but when y'all meet, y'all get all that together and that y'all bring it to me when it's complete.
And problems I've heard about is traffic control. They can't pass because the cars are blocking the street. So maybe the chief.
That's why it's called a block party.
Yeah.
And chief block the whole block.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but, like we said to me, I don't plan on blocking the street, like cars and traffic is still gonna be able to pass through.
You have a hard time having that just on the shoulder now.
That answers-
That's a private property and street, so I think the safest thing to do is block one block.
But also, the old Tikis, I got permission from the owner that can be used as a parking lot.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Okay,
Okay.
y'all talk about it, Chris, if you need to be part of that meeting after everything's in place,
Yeah.
if we need to, we'll have a subsequent conversation. Okay?
Call me if you have any more questions. Okay.
Yeah, and he knows, he's been communicating with us and Rainey and so, okay, we have a motion, a second. Any other questions or comments before we take action? I think he's all
Sit
excited.
down. No, I was saying I have to sit down. I don't like standing.
You can. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. All right. Item number 12, to approve payment of partial payment estimate number 5, which is the final payment in the amount of $1,069.98 payable to Mesotech International Incorporated relative to the AWAS 3 PT replacement project.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Okay, that's at the airport. And hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. We have one more item of new business. It is item number 13 as amended. Add approval of a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement between the city of Acville and Louisiana Department of Transportation relative to the construction hangar development area phase 2 project as business item number 13. Motion on a second from Councilman Broussard, council and audience. This is an extension of the asphalt, extending the asphalt beyond where it currently is at the airport so that new constructions, additional hangars can be constructed there. And this project is funded by DOTD as stated, and it can only happen at the airport. So that's what the project is. If you have any questions or want to see pictures or the design area, we have that at City Hall. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That's it for items of new business. Items of old business, we have none. Departmental reports. Engineers, Andy, do you have anything?
I have nothing.
Okay, and Kim has nothing. He's shaking his head in the back. Attorney Board?
Nothing new.
Okay, Public Works Director, Chris? Nothing? Parks and Rec,
I guess I'll.
Byron?
Where the ice, no trees.
Art Dozier, Parks and Recs coordinator. Finally, Biddy basketball went in. This past weekend, we hosted a credential tournament at Abbeville High School and the Henry Gym. Two of our local all-star teams, the 10s and the 12s, they both came out second place in the tournament. Next weekend, they'll be playing at Acadiana in Youngsville at the sports complex. Basketball tournament wise, that's done. Abbeville Parks and Recs and Quality Sports Authority baseball registration is going on through February 28th. High school baseball has started, so I'm sure y'all see some action in the park now. Softball hasn't started yet, home game wise, but that will start next week. Other than that, we're finalizing the select tournament schedule, which will start first weekend in March. And other than that, any questions?
Good job.
Thank you, Byron, and thank you, Kristen.
Yes.
Good tournament, good results.
Okay, that's it? No questions? Item number 5, Mayor, I got a couple things. We did open our water plant project bid. We had lined up about $8.7 million in funding and it came back at $12.1 million, I think was the total. So we sat down at the table, just so happened, serendipitously, I went to dinner and saw one of our representatives and mentioned that how disappointed I was when the bids came back, and he mentioned go back to water sector and ask for more money, which was meeting that week. So we opened the bids maybe Thursday. On Monday morning, we met with the engineers. We pulled out non-critical items to do what they call value engineering and try to bring the total overage down. And some of that work still needs to happen, but we felt the numbers were way too high to probably do it outside that contract for a lot less. So some of it we'll do ourselves. Some of it we're going to work into another phase of work. We went back to water sector on the following Thursday and were approved for $1.7 million additional funding. So that'll bring our total project to $10.4 million. That is $4 million of it funded by water sector. $5.9 million is currently in a loan form, but will be an LDH revolving loan fund, which we believe the majority of that will be forgiven. We'll know after everything's awarded. And anyway, that's where we currently are. We may be going back to the table to ask for more money in the near future, and we will be planning an additional phase of work because, as you all know, we need to work on the water towers and go to smart meters and other things. So we did a lot of work in the last week. I'm happy to say we will still move forward with the water plant project. We're probably going to still have to take some additional action here at the table before we can go to construction. But looks like it's going to be moving out. That all occurred in the last 5 or 6, 7 days, I guess. Also, downtown signage and concrete repair. I know y'all all probably saw coming into town from the bypass and going out from the courthouse to the bypass. A lot of barrels, and everybody thought we were done with construction, but we're not. Part of the project was to repair the major cracks in the concrete from the bypass to where the asphalt stops at Edward Street. And so that's the work they're doing now. And then they'll come back and finish the striping, finish with some delineators tapering off the lanes. So all the barrels will be gone when they do that. And they met today, marked out all the signage, which they'll start installing tomorrow. Chris, is that right? Pouring all the holes for the poles that need to go in. So all the signs, all the temporary stop signs that we keep picking up whenever the wind's down, wind strong, those are going to all be permanent signs that are being installed over the next week. You'll see that progress moving forward. I don't know if it'll happen with the freeze, but within a week, I think you'll see that. So the downtown street project, I'm happy to say, is almost finished. That is coming to an end. As you know, we're still working on Graceland, but it sounds like that'll be wrapping up soon. We have some work to do on Martin Luther King. Chris and I talked about that today. We're gonna get with Councilwoman Broussard on that, some sidewalk work. And then I want to announce that our next coffee talk with the mayor and the chief will be March 13th at Abbeville General Hospital in the auditorium. That will be March 13th, 7 a.m. to 8:30. Everyone is invited, including you, council. It is going to be with our representatives about the constitutional amendments that are coming up, update on what we should expect from session, and there'll be an opportunity to ask questions to them if you'd like. So March 13th, we've invited Senator Bob Hinchkins, Representative Troy Aber, Representative Ryan Bouyock, Representative Jacob Landry. Sometimes we have other people show up, so I don't know if more will show up, but they'll all be there March 13th at Abbeville General Hospital in the auditorium. So I hope you will join us and from them what's going on and ask them whatever questions you have. And last but not least, Parker Aber Park, Councilman Hardy. The equipment, the playground equipment that we ordered is available and ready. I talked with Chris today. The guys went out and did some prep work, so we should see them come in to install that. Did you have a call?
Okay. Sure. I was gonna get with, you think it's Jake, to set up time for them to be here.
Yes, so they should be installing that in the coming weeks also. Any questions or comments for me? None? Okay. Police Chief Mike Hardy, you have the floor.
Just a couple of things. Right now, and I'll talk out his business, and the only other thing I have is, you're gonna be having coffee talks on the 13th. We have chat with the chief at Chevy on the 12th. Everybody here is invited to go. They're gonna be serving breakfast. So anyone wants to show up and ask any questions, we'll have, the Vermillion Parish Sheriff's Office and probably from almost all the departments in the parish. So if you have any questions, go up and ask questions. I believe ours starts at 8 o'clock.
I see.
That is the 12th. That's it.
I see Officer Calder there, Sergeant, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Any issues today? I know you were out by the property. All right. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. Fire Chief Jude Meir. Nada? Did you get your hires done?
Tomorrow was interview.
Okay.
We have two.
All right. Any questions for Chief Meir? None? I'll move on to council. For Councilman Campbell to my left.
Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Samantha, I'm going to, change my question and I'll vote yes for you to be hired. So congratulations and welcome to the police department in Abbeville. Also, I talked to, Chris about, what needed to be done at Lafayette Street Park, because that's a park that my organization adopted. And as soon as he gives us a list, we'll get busy working on the Lafayette Street Park. And off the record, I'd like to thank Rainey for attending our meeting today. We had a great time with her and her daughter. And thanks again.
Thank you.
We bought all our eggs.
We bought all of her eggs.
High price.
Oh, they're cheap compared to.
I know they are. I told her she needs to sell them for more money.
That's all I have here.
Okay, Councilwoman Broussard. Councilman Broussard.
Want to make the public aware, a new farmer's market in Abbeville every Sunday at the old Steins parking lot. Mr. Baudouin has worked with our Public Works Director to get that going. And he had quite a crowd and a TV station there this past Sunday. So you have a farm to table, fresh vegetables available to you in that farmer's market in Stein's parking lot every Sunday. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna come back. She's pulling up Sounds on the Square. We did finalize the schedule, so I wanted to present it, and I just forgot to ask about it before the meeting. Council, Chief Moton.
I just want to thank Chris and his crew for helping me out in the district and getting things done. I really appreciate it. And also Stuart, and his crew. That's all I have. Thank you.
Councilman Hardy.
I just want to welcome you to
Try.
our tonight
Okay.
police department.
Let me just pull it. Okay, Well, we didn't get it, so we'll be sharing it. We do have the sound list. We already scheduled the bands from March through April, and check the city website for the information. We'll post it. I think you already posted it, but anyway, that's it. Meeting adjourned.
A little too slow. It was there.
Yeah, how you doing? Good, I'll see you.
I love that I can see all the areas. Got it all about it in a couple seconds.
After that,
We got the photos of the budget in. Yeah, I guess.
The ones I showed, I can, any ones that I showed here, I can send to you. So I'll do that, okay? Let me make a note of it.
Hello again.
And I'm doing the stories with grapes. I'm gonna do the other tomorrow. I'll send it to you. If you want to, or whatever. I have some pictures that I ended up today and stuff.
You have a picture of it. Whipping on.
I'm kind of waiting on that one. I'm waiting for the pictures today. Taking stuff down. I'm just gonna do the part of it right now. The part will take it back. Right. And just use it if you don't. I'll send you the pictures with it. You know what I mean?
You must have, and it's very deserved. She's doing a fine job, like every position.
I forgot.